Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Paul, and in this ReggameToTheCon video, we're going to be discussing Xbox One X news which has popped up over the past 24 or so hours. We'll start things out with the pre-order speed of the Project Scorpio Xbox One X. Amazing, Microsoft, because within a day, all consoles were apparently snapped up. And then we're going to move over to the cloud once again. That's right, but in a different way. This time, Microsoft are going to be utilizing it for intelligent delivery of assets for games, essentially to save you storage space. But we'll, as I said, talk about the actual pre-orders first. This is according to an interview from Rocket Beans, who managed to grab Aaron Greenberg, who is the head of Xbox marketing. He says, Aaron Greenberg that is, we sold out at Amazon in, I think, 25 minutes. We expected our total inventory to last about a week, and it sold out in less than a day. Now, he did say that they didn't want to disclose the total amount of inventory, but he insists the Project Scorpio edition was for the core fans, the people who would line up in front of stores. We knew that they would be digitally ordering that, and we wanted to make sure the special edition was for them. He also said that Germany, in particular, had an accelerated rate of ordering, maybe the fastest in the world, so it was great to see fans supporting them there. End quote. I'll link the video in question in the description of this very video. Now, I have to say, before I continue with the rest of the video, I did actually pre-order my own Xbox One X, and I actually went into a store. Very rare that I actually do this. Normally I'm pretty much only online type of guy, but I happen to be working near a store, a Game UK retail store, and I decided to put my own pre-order down. Now, this was pretty early. I'm not sure of the exact time, around 11:30 AM, and I actually was speaking to a couple of the employees there. And they actually told me that they had just 10 Xbox One X Project Scorpio editions allocated to them, and 7 of those had already been snapped up by the time I got to the store. So I was basically pre-ordering the 8th, leaving, well, 2 total. I'm good at math, me. So I obviously this doesn't mean much because, well, the most obvious thing is how many consoles total were there, because obviously, if the store was only getting 10 total, that's not a great indicator that the stock was huge to begin with. I mean, if they had like 50 and they said, well, you know, we've only got 7 left just for the sake of argument, then okay, that's very impressive. But I have to say, within, I don't know, an hour or so, I did check Amazon and I checked a couple of other websites, and I couldn't pre-order the system online. I normally, as I said, do everything online when it comes to pre-ordering, but I was in town and I did check a couple of websites on my phone, and I was just like, you know what, this is kind of ticking me off, forget this. I'll just go into the store and see if they've got one. I checked Game, as I said, which is UK based. I checked shop2.net, and I checked Amazon, and I checked another store, but I can't for the life of me remember which one. And either the pre-orders were just having difficulty and not going through properly, I'm assuming because their servers were getting hammered, or they had simply ran out of allocation. And I think even the official Xbox store, by the time I decided to look after I got home, so I'd already made the pre-order at this point, so I had no intention of buying the system, obviously twice. And I did quickly check online, and they were also out as well. So that's positive news for the Xbox One X. Obviously, however, it is a limited edition console. My personal opinion, and obviously your opinion may vary, I love the look of the Project Scorpio edition, and I have to admit I was someone who really liked the original Xbox. I actually owned every console of that generation, including the Dreamcast, which I guess is arguable whether it was fully part of that generation, but, you know, I digress. So I had the PS2, the GameCube, the original Xbox, the Dreamcast, and I loved the original Xbox. I really loved the theme, I loved the colouring and all that. So when I saw it, I was like, you know what, I need an Xbox One X for the channel, because I'm just curious also. So sure, why not? I'll pre-order one. Hopefully this does increase the Xbox's install base. I'm very, very curious to see what the percentage of people who did not own a PlayStation 4 who are buying the Xbox One X, because, well, it makes an awful lot of sense, because A, multi-platform games are going to be well, looking their best on the Xbox One X, assuming developers actually bother to leverage the power of the system. And two, well, you do get some exclusives that you might have been interested in. I do admit, however, that the Xbox One X's exclusives this year are a bit weak. It did not help that Crackdown, got delayed, which did suck. But even though I'm not a huge racing fan, I do want to check out the new Forza. I have to admit, I'm probably going to buy Shadow of War on the Xbox One X rather than the PC, even though my PC is pretty damn nice. I've got a GTX 1080 in it. And I might also buy Destiny 2 because I've got a friend or two that do play on the Xbox One, and I know that they are going to probably be very much interested in Destiny 2, so I might as well play it on the Xbox, even though personally I'm more of a mouse and keyboard guy, so I'm probably going to look a bit crap when I'm playing on controller. But anyway, very interesting to see what happens with the Xbox One X, and also to see if Sony decide to cut the price of the PS4 Pro, or perhaps in a year or so we're going to hear about the mythical specifications of the PlayStation 5. But anyway, now to the power of the cloud. I can hear you groan already. Yes, we heard a lot about the power of the cloud, especially when it came to the processing side of things before the original Xbox One launched, but Games Radar managed to speak to Mike Ybarra at Gamescom, and he said that obviously one of the big problems, I'm paraphrasing, is that, well, with 4K games and games with high quality graphical assets in general, games require bigger install sizes, right? I mean, it could balloon to like 100 gigabytes, and obviously, yes, you can have external devices, for example, external USB hard drives plugged in or whatever, but it's not ideal. So he said Microsoft has a plan. Yes, they have a plan. On that platform side, we're looking at things what we call internally as intelligent delivery. So what it does, at least in theory, is install a particular portion of the game on your hard drive, but as you make your way through the game, so for example, let's say you were on a level on Tomb Raider, but then you were to move to, say, the end of that level, or getting closer to the end of that level, it would essentially start downloading the assets from the cloud, replace the data that was on your hard drive. I guess you could almost think of it as like a caching system, the hard drive, and essentially load in the next level. And he continues by saying, in general, people usually have more storage than they need, but people are more comfortable saying that I've done playing that, let me push that back to the cloud so I've got more room there. So I guess it's really easy to summarize this as kind of a streaming solution. You're essentially downloading sections of the game, streaming data. Of course, many of you are going to say, well, what happens if you've got a sucky connection? Or what happens if your internet goes down? Or what happens if you've got, I don't know, a metered connection? Well, obviously, in those cases, this solution may not simply be for you. Unfortunately, especially for people with metered connections, if you're going to buy games digitally, I've got bad news for you. It's just gonna suck. I mean, look at the install size, or the total size needed of Final Fantasy 15 on the PC. It was originally touted to be like 170 gigs, I think. 160, 170, I can't remember. But anyway, I think it went down to like 100. Oh, yay! Yay! I get to save 100 gigabytes. Well, considering the average SSD size, for example, okay, many people do have like a 500 gigabyte-ish SSD. But even so, like, that's an awful lot of space just eaten away. So I do feel that that's one of the reasons mechanical drives are still going to be quite popular for some time now on PC. And obviously when it comes to consoles, the Xbox One X has a 1 terabyte drive inside of it, which is not bad, but it is not exactly going to soldier it, especially when games such as Forza 7 on the Xbox One is also going to be about 100 gigabytes as well. It's a bit smaller, apparently. It's a bit smaller. Don't worry, a little bit smaller. Yes, quite. Anyway, the one good thing, of course, is if you don't have an Xbox One X, you won't be downloading those 4K assets. And while 4K does look beautiful, I have to admit, if you've seen the difference between, let's say, 1080p and like 4K, there is a tangible difference there. I still personally feel that HDR on many games looks nicer than 4K. Not in all instances, but HDR is really nice in person. I've actually been messing around with it a little bit on the PS4 Pro recently with Uncharted 4 and also The Lost Legacy, which I've been playing. Top game, by the way, really good. I'm probably going to be doing a review of The Lost Legacy, but really good game. It's quite a different take, actually, from the Uncharted 4 formula. Not like the controls are different or anything, but it plays a bit differently. It's more open worldy. But anyway, yeah, so HDR looks really nice. So let's just see. Anyway, it's been a bit of a rambly video, but hopefully you've enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye for now.